In module 2, we look at modeling your service, deciding how you wish to compete. You must decide from day one how you wish to compete and accordingly model your service to be able to deliver the service that you wish. Without that, if you do not model your service and from day one, from the scratch, you must sit down and model how the service will be provided with the customer in the center of the universe. So how do you define your market in the area of the customer? Let's look at the example of three companies that really had their day: Kodak, Xerox, and the railroads. Look at Kodak, founded in 1878 by Ismail Kodak with a very beautiful mission to make photography as convenient as the pencil. They just gone out of business because they did not were not able to adjust to the new reality that customers wanted their photos. The customer is not interested in the product, that is interested in the product of your products, the product of your products. So Kodak thought that they were in the business of selling photography films, whereas customers were in the business of getting their pictures as out as fast as possible, getting their pictures, smiling faces as fast as possible out there to the world. That's why, with a twinkle of an eye, Instagram had taken over the market for instant photography. So, RIP, Kodak. Xerox literally founded the photocopy business. And they were so successful to the extent that at a point in time they controlled more than 70% of the photography. I mean, photocopying business. But what did they do? Of course, they went to sleep. And companies like Canon, Minolta, and came up and nearly drove Xerox. Xerox was tottering on the brink of collapse before they were able to reinvent themselves. In fact, things were so bad for Xerox that at a point in time, they had the tagline, "We taught the world how to copy." Who cares? No one cares if you taught the world how to copy. And along the line, you did not know what to do next. Of course, Xerox been able to reinvent itself, to see themselves as a document company, which has helped them in no small measure to claw themselves back from the ignominy of death. Of course, we talk about the railroads. The railroads always saw themselves as being in the railroads business. But if they see themselves as being in the business of moving people, moving goods, moving services, moving people from point A to point B, they would have been able to reinvent themselves. When the aviation industry came up, they could have transformed themselves and became the dominant players in the aviation business, but they could not because they just saw themselves as being in the road business. So you must define your market in the area of the customer with the purpose in mind, the end result in mind. What does the customer, if the customer wants to be moved from point A to point B, he's not interested whether you are using the railroads, whatever you are using, the customer wants to move speed and agility from point A to point B. So that's how you define your market in terms of the customers, the end product that this customer is looking for. So you need to define your product. So let's look at the bundle of service. How to position your business. Define your bundle of value to the customer. Define your bundle of value to the customer. Let's look at an example of companies try various means, various ways to do this in terms of tagline, in terms of their position statement, and so on. FedEx would say when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. So there's no doubt in our minds that FedEx will deliver it. naked, just do it. Just do it. Propelling you to go and there and exercise yourself. A company that produces chicken, Purdue Chicken, says it takes a tough man to make a tender chicken. How about that? It takes a tough man to make a tender chicken. That's from Purdue Chicken. These are all ways of expressing themselves, how they're trying to define their bundle of value to the customer. This is how they're trying to position themselves. Lexus says the relentless pursuit of perfection. The relentless pursuit of perfection. Lexus was able to, from nowhere, from zero, to become one of the dominant players in the high class car or automobile market, taking market share from the likes of Benz, Mercedes-Benz, the likes of Cadillac, and so on. So you have to really define your bundle of value to the customer in such a way that it is crystal clear that yes, you understand what the customer is looking for. The customer is looking for comfort, instant gratification. The bundle of value for this presentation, for instance, is to help you shift your focus from what can't be done to what can be done. It is to remind you of your potential as opposed to your limitations, and accordingly drive home the point that in customer service, nothing is impossible. That is the bundle of value for this presentation. So let's move on to see what customers really buy. Customers only buy needs. Customers only buy needs. They will exchange their hard-earned money for only two things: solutions to problems and good feelings. Solutions to problems and good feelings. What solution do you give? The value, your value in the marketplace will depend to a very large extent on the magnitude of problem you can solve. It does not depend on how much noise you make through adverts. It's the magnitude of the problem, how gargantuan problem you can solve, that will determine the value in your market. The good feelings. Will people be able to say, oh wow, it was so nice being with these people today. The ambience was out of this world. So let's look at solutions customers look for. Customers look for increased productivity, reduced costs, yields, the relationship between input and output, simplicity, speed, responsiveness. If you are not able to provide this, whether you're a small company, you're a big company, or you're a middle-sized company, you have no future. So you really need to sit down and ask yourself the simple questions. What we are doing, is it able to lead to increased productivity for the customer? Is it likely to help the customer reduce its costs? Is it likely to bring higher yield? Is it likely to make its life simplify their processes? Is it likely to add speed, make things move faster? Is it like, are we very responsive? These are the things, the questions you need to ask and answer, have clear answers for. Then what are the good feelings that people buy? People buy experience, the totality of the feeling there at the point of contact with their company, experience, prestige. People do just go and buy a Lexus because they want to drive a car. They buy Lexus because they want to have the prestige of being one of the movers and shakers. Of course, the same thing with class. People buy Bill House or buy the houses Canary Island, in Banana Island, because they want to show they have class. People buy things, they buy good feelings of excitement, comfort, peace of mind, and of course, convenience. So you have to think hard and fast about the good feelings your product, your service provides people. At the back of your mind, at all times, think, what is the experience people will feel after doing business with us? Let's move on now. So what you do is business of architecture, you're not in the business of agriculture, you're not in the business of insurance, you're not in even the brewery or phone business. You're in the business of providing people with excitement, class, experience, and prestige. Unless you're able to redesign, redefine your business along those lines in terms of the excitement, class, experience, prestige, you're just going to be left behind. You're just going to become a mediocre. You're just going to become the also rans. And within a short time, fall by the wayside. So why precision in customer selection is the most important strategy of all. You have to be very precise on the customer universe you wish to serve. Customer selection, market selection is the most important thing you must do as a service provider. You cannot afford to be all things to all men. You cannot afford to be everything to all men. You must select the customers you wish to serve with care and precision. Customers that are willing to pay, customers that are willing to pay any price for your products. Do you see how much, how long the lines build up quickly whenever Apple launches its products? They will announce the launch of their product 6 months in advance, creating a frenzy. People starting to line up, people starting to boast about it, people starting to talk about it, creating buzz all over the place. And by the time the product, some people line 12 hours, start lining up 12 hours before Apple products come out. Why do they do that? Because Apple does not want to be the biggest company on earth. They want to be the best company in terms of design. So you cannot afford to be everything to all men. Do you ever see a cheap Apple product? You hardly. Their products are always at a premium. And people, they have a fanatical following. That is how. And that's why precision in customer selection is the most important strategy of all. So the high-tech era requires a high-touch approach. John Naisbitt, Mega Trends, the 10 New Directions Transforming Our Lives, together with Nana Naisbitt, High-Tech, High-Touch, Technology and Our Search for Meaning. I've captured this. Say, don't allow technology to make you an unhuman. That's my coinage. Don't allow technology to make you unhuman. That's my coinage. Don't be a slave to technology. Every company now has automatic answering machines, the so-called PABX, which makes them very unapproachable. You can't reach any human being. You are told you are number 10 in the queue. You are taken round and round and round. Stop the temptation. If you have not yet installed one, scratch the idea. Get someone there to answer the phone. You are creating jobs, and in this stressful world, customers need a human being to talk to. So high tech requires high touch. Are people only dealing with machines in your company? You cannot reach a human being because you want to save costs? You are making a very sad mistake. In this new era, whether you are reaching customers through social media, you are reaching customers through your website, you are reaching customers through your website must be customer friendly. Your website must use words that customers can relate to. Do not use machine talk. Customers must be able to reach you in ways that makes it very easy for them. High tech requires high touch. So wrapping everything up with your service vision and brand image. These are the most admired companies in 2013. Of course, at the top there is Apple, Google, Amazon, How do you want to come across? What image will or should people associate with their company? Is it the caring, customer-centric giant or the faceless bully just out there to make money? Think hard and fast about the way you wish to position the company and ensure you walk the talk. Wrap everything up with their service vision and brand image. Be the company that everybody is thrilled to do business with. Be the company that everybody is thrilled to do business with. Company that are admired. So, of course, that is tricky. You must understand building your brand model. So let's quickly look at briefly how you can build your brand model. These are integrated brand model from the PIB. Has two core propositions. Core proposition as it relates to customers, and the core proposition as it relates to you as an employer. So the brand people purchase. What are the benefits? What are the differentiators? What are the reasons to believe in you? So that the customer brand proposition, then the employer brand proposition, the brand people work for. What two are the benefits? What are the differentiators? What are the reasons to believe? So you must shape a positive brand experience that drives attraction, retention, and engagement. And brand advocacy. Are staff engaged with your brand positioning? So you must really ensure brand integrity. So you must have a common vocal point and then the values and personality you want to create so that staff are proud to be associated with you, so they'll be engaged. Then customers are proud to be associated with you. That you do not need to spend billions and millions and millions in advertising. That the product, your brand sells itself. A typical example, the company that has actually got it right is, of course, Apple. Because Apple wants to leave a dent in the universe. Apple does not want to push out any product until and unless it is insanely great. So shipping a positive brand experience that drives trial, repeat purchase, and brand advocacy. People are willing to go out there to shout about their brand, to sell their brand virally, and singing their praises to the ends